Hi. My name is Tourism in Indonesia. Tourism in Indonesia is an important component of the Indonesian economy as well as a significant source of its foreign exchange revenues. Indonesia was ranked at 20th in the world tourist industry in 2017, also ranked as the 9th fastest growing tourist sector in the world, the 3rd fastest growing in Asia and fastest growing in Southeast Asia. In 2018, Denpasar, Jakarta and Batam are among of 10 cities in the world with fastest growth in tourism, 32.7, 29.2 and 23.3% respectively. The tourism sector ranked as the 4th largest among goods and services export sectors. Indonesia possesses rich and colorful culture, such as barong dance performance in Bali. On 2019, Indonesia recorded 16.10 million foreign tourist arrivals, seeing a 1.9% increase than that of 2018. In 2015, 9.73 million international visitors entered Indonesia, staying in hotels for an average of 7.5 nights and spending an average of $1,142 per person during their visit, or $152.22 per person per day. Singapore, Malaysia, China, Australia, and Japan are the top 5 sources of visitors to Indonesia. The Travel and Tourism Competitiveness Report 2019 ranks Indonesia 40th out of 140 countries overall with Travel and Tourism Competitiveness Index score of 4.3. It is a 2-steps improvement from Indonesia's 2017 position of 42nd out of 136 countries overall with index score of 4.2. The 2015 report ranks the price competitiveness of Indonesia's tourism sector the 3rd out of 141 countries. It mentions that Indonesia has quite good travel and tourism policy and enabling conditions. The country also scores quite good on natural and cultural resources. However, the country scored rather low in infrastructure sub-index, as some aspect of tourist service infrastructure are underdeveloped. In 2016, the government was reported to be investing more in tourism development by attracting more foreign investors. The government has given priority to 10 destinations as follows: Borobudur, Central Java, Mandalika, West Nusa Tenggara, Labuan Bajo, East Nusa Tenggara, Bromo Tengger Semeru, East Java, Thousand Islands, Jakarta, Toba, North Sumatra, Wakatobi, Southeast Sulawesi, Tanjung Lesung, Banten, Morotai, North Maluku, and Tanjung Kaliang, Belitung. As quoted in the Jakarta Post, the government is aiming for 275 million trips by domestic tourists by end of 2019. The government has also secured commitments from potential investors, totaling $70 million in the areas of building accommodation, marina and ecotourism facilities in 3 of the 10 areas. Indonesia is ranked at 7th place in the list of Lonely Planet's top 10 countries to visit in 2019. The country ranks 4th out of the top 25 destinations in the world in 2018 by travel site TripAdvisor. Joanna. I will read any text you type here. Overview. Both nature and culture are major components of Indonesian tourism. The natural heritage can boast a unique combination of a tropical climate, a vast archipelago of 17,508 islands, 6,000 of them being inhabited, the 2nd longest shoreline in the world after Canada. It is the world's largest and most populous country situated only on islands. The beaches in Bali, diving sites in Bunaken, Mount Bromo in East Java, Lake Toba and various national parks in Sumatra are just a few examples of popular scenic destinations. These natural attractions are complemented by a rich cultural heritage that reflects Indonesia's dynamic history and ethnic diversity. One fact that exemplifies this richness is that 719 living languages are used across the archipelago. The ancient Prambanan and Borobudur temples, Toraja, Yogyakarta, Minangkabau, and of course Bali, with its many Hindu festivities, are some of the popular destinations for cultural tourism. Indonesia is a member of PATA and was the host of its annual conference in 1963 and 1974 in Jakarta, and in 2003 in Bali. Indonesia also was the host of PATA Travel Mart in 1985 and 1989 in Bali, and 2016 in Jakarta. Tourism in Indonesia is currently overseen by the Indonesian Ministry of Tourism. International tourism campaigns have been focusing largely on its tropical destinations with white sand beaches, blue sky, and cultural attractions. Beach resorts and hotels have been developed in some popular tourist destinations, especially Bali Island as the primary destination. At the same time, the integration of cultural affairs and tourism under the scope of the same ministry shows that cultural tourism is considered an integral part of Indonesia's tourism industry, and conversely, that tourism is used to promote and preserve the cultural heritage. Some of the challenges Indonesia's tourism industry has to face include the development of infrastructure to support tourism across the sprawling archipelago, incursions of the industry into local traditions, and the impact of tourism development on the life of local people. The tourism industry in Indonesia has also faced setbacks due to problems related to security. Since 2002, warnings have been issued by some countries over terrorist threats and ethnic as well as religious conflicts in some areas, significantly reducing the number of foreign visitors for a few years. However, the number of international tourists has bounced back positively since 2007, and reached a new record in 2008 and kept rising since then. The 2019 Travel and Tourism Competitiveness Report ranks Indonesia 40th out of 140 countries overall with a score of 4.3. It lists the price competitiveness of Indonesia's tourism sector the 6th out of 140 countries. The report states that Indonesia scores well on visa policy and international openness, as well as on natural and cultural resources. However, Indonesia has a low score in infrastructure, as some aspects of tourist service infrastructure are underdeveloped. Other aspects that need to be improved include health and hygiene, environmental sustainability, and affinity for travel and tourism. Branding. In late January 2011, Culture and Tourism Minister Jero Wasik announced that Wonderful Indonesia would replace the previous Visit Indonesia year branding used by the nation's official tourism promotional campaigns, although the logo of stylized curves Garuda remain. The minister announced that in 2010, foreign tourists visiting Indonesia touched 7 million and made predictions of 7.7 million in 2011. He was reported as describing the new branding as reflecting the country's beautiful nature, unique culture, varied food, hospitable people and price competitiveness. We expect each tourist will spend around $1,100 and with an optimistic target of 7.7 million arrivals, we will get $8.3 billion from this. The Culture and Tourism Minister added that 50% of the revenue would be generated from about 600 meetings, conventions and exhibitions that were expected to take place in various places throughout the country 2011. He further added in the announcements of January 2011 that his ministry would be promoting the country's attractions under the eco-cultural banner. Nature tourism. Indonesia has a well-preserved, natural ecosystem with rainforests that stretch over about 57% of Indonesia's land, approximately 2% of which are mangrove systems. One reason why the natural ecosystem in Indonesia is still well preserved is because only 6,000 islands out of 17,000 are permanently inhabited. Forests on Sumatra and Java are examples of popular tourist destinations. Moreover, Indonesia has one of the longest coastlines in the world, measuring 54,716 kilometers, with a number of beaches and island resorts, such as those in southern Bali, Lombok, Bintan, and Nias Island. However, most of the well-preserved beaches are those in more isolated and less developed areas, such as Karimunjawa, the Tojan Islands, and the Banda Islands. 5 sites. With more than 17,508 islands, Indonesia presents ample diving opportunities. With 20% of the world's coral reefs, over 3,000 different species of fish and 600 coral species, deep water trenches, volcanic seamounts, World War II wrecks, and an endless variety of macro life, scuba diving in Indonesia is both excellent and inexpensive. Bunaken National Marine Park, at the northern tip of Sulawesi, claims to have 7 times more genera of coral than Hawaii, and has more than 70% of all the known fish species of the Indo-Western Pacific. According to Conservation International, marine surveys suggest that the marine life diversity in the Raja Ampat area is the highest recorded on Earth. Moreover, there are over 3,500 species living in Indonesian waters, including sharks, dolphins, manta rays, turtles, morays, cuttlefish, octopus and scorpionfish, compared to 1,500 on the Great Barrier Reef and 600 in the Red Sea. Tulamben Bay in Bali boasts the wreck of the 120 meters U.S. Army commissioned transport vessel, the Liberty. Other popular dive sites on Bali are at Candidasa and Menjangan. Across the Badung Strait from Bali, there are several popular dive sites on Nusa Lembongan and Nusa Penida. Lombok's three gillies are popular as is Bangka. Saranda Island is a very popular spot also in Gorontalo, Sulawesi. Some of the most famous diving sites in Indonesia are also the most difficult to reach, with places like Biak off the coast of Papua and the Alor archipelago among the popular, more remote, destinations for divers. Surf breaks. Surfing is also a popular water activity in Indonesia and the sites are recognized as world-class. The well-known locations are mostly located on the southern, Indian Ocean side of Indonesia, the largest breaks being on the southern Java. However, the north coast does not receive the same surf from the Java Sea. Surf breaks can be found all the way along Sumatra, down to Nusa Tenggara, including Aceh, Bali, Banten, Java, Lombok, the Mentawai Islands, and Sumbawa. Although Indonesia has many world-class surfing spots, the majority of surfers come from abroad, especially Australia and the United States. However, enthusiasm for local surfing began in Bali and West Java's Pelabuhan Ratu and Pangandaran Beach, with most surfers arriving from nearby cities of Jakarta and Bandung. Sumatran orangutan mother and child in Mount Loser National Park, North Sumatra in 2018, World Surf League has had 8 surfing events in Indonesia. On Bali, there are about 33 surf locations, from West Bali to East Bali including 4 on the offshore island of Nusa Lembongan. In Sumbawa, Huan Lakey Beach and Sempi Bay are popular surfing spots among surfing enthusiasts. Sumatra is the second island, with the greatest number of surf spots, with 18 altogether. High season for surfing is around May to September with the trade winds blowing from east to southeast. From October to April, winds tend to come from the west to northwest, so the east coast breaks get the offshore winds. 2 well-known surf breaks in Indonesia are the G Land in the Bay of Groningen, East Java, and Legendary Bay at the southern end of Nias Island. G Land was first identified in 1972 when a surfer saw the break from the window of a plane. Since 6 to 8 foot waves were discovered by surfers at Legendary Bay in 1975, the island has become famous for surfing worldwide. National Parks. Bogor Botanical Gardens established in 1817, and Chibotas Botanical Gardens established in 1862, are 2 among the oldest botanical gardens in Asia. With rich collections of tropical plants, these gardens are the center of botanical research as well as tourism attractions since the colonial era. There are 50 national parks in Indonesia, of which 6 are World Heritage listed. The largest national parks in Sumatra are the 9,500 square kilometer Gunung Loser National Park, the 13,750 square kilometer Kerinci Seblat National Park and the 3,568 square kilometer Bukit Barisan Selatan National Park, all 3 recognized as tropical rainforest heritage of Sumatra on the UNESCO World Heritage List. Other national parks on the list are Lawrence National Park in Papua, Komodo National Park in the Lesser Sunda Islands, and Ujung Kulon National Park in the west of Java. To be noticed, different national parks offer different biodiversity, as the natural habitat in Indonesia is divided into 2 areas by the Wallace Line. The Wallacea biogeographical distinction means the western part of Indonesia have the same flora and fauna characteristics as the Asian continent, whilst the many native species such as Sumatran elephants, Sumatran tigers, Sumatran rhinoceros, Javan rhinoceros and orangutans are listed as endangered or critically endangered, and the remaining populations are found in national parks and other conservation areas. Sumatran orangutan can be visited in the Bukit Lawang Conservation Area, while the Bornean orangutan can be visited in Tanjung Puting National Park, Central Kalimantan. The world's largest flower, Rafflesia arnoldi, and the tallest flower, Titan arum, can be found in Sumatra. The east side of the Wallacea Line offers the most remarkable, rarest, and exotic animals on Earth. Birds of paradise, locally known as Cendrawsih, are plumed birds that can be found among other fauna in Papua New Guinea. The largest bird in Papua is the flightless cassowary. One species of lizard, the Komodo dragon, can easily be found on Komodo, located in the Nusa Tenggara Lesser Islands region. Besides Komodo Island, this endangered species can also be found on the islands of Rinca, Padar, and Flores. Volcanoes. Hiking and camping in the mountains are popular adventure activities. Some mountains contain rich rivers, offering rafting activity. Though volcanic mountains can be dangerous, they have become major tourist destinations. Several tourists have died on the slopes of Mount Rinjani, Indonesia's second highest volcano and a popular destination for climbers visiting Lombok in eastern Indonesia. Popular active volcanoes are the 2,329-meter-high Mount Bromo in the East Java province with its scenic volcanic desert around the crater, the upturned boat-shaped Tangkuban Parahu and the volcanic crater Kawah Putih, north and south of Bandung respectively, and both with drive-in access up to the crater, the most active volcano in Java, Mount Merapi near Yogyakarta, and the legendary Krakatau with its new caldera known as Anak Krakatau. Jeed Pangrango volcano in West Java is also a popular hiking destination, especially among domestic hikers. Lake Toba, the world's largest volcanic lake, panoramic view seen from Merak, North Sumatra. In Sumbawa, Mount Tambora with its historical massive volcanic eruption back in 1815 that produced massive caldera also had gained attention among hikers. In the neighboring island of Flores, the three-colored volcanic crater Lake of Kelimutu is also hailed as one of Indonesia's natural wonder and had attracted visitors worldwide. Puncak Jaya in the Lawrence National Park, the highest mountain in Indonesia and one of the few mountains with ice caps at the equator, offers the opportunity of rock climbing. In Sumatra, there are the remains of a supervolcano eruption that have created the landscape of Lake Toba close to Medan in North Sumatra. Cultural tourism. Indonesia consists of over 1,300 ethnic groups, spread over a 1.8 million square kilometer area of 6,000 inhabited islands. This creates a cultural diversity, further compounded by Hindu, Buddhist, Islamic and European colonialist influences. In Bali, where most of Indonesian Hindus live, cultural and religious festivals with Balinese dance drama performances in Balinese temples are major attractions to foreign tourists. Despite foreign influences, a diverse array of indigenous traditional cultures is still evident in Indonesia. The indigenous ethnic group of Toraja in South Sulawesi still has a strong tradition that descends from animistic beliefs, even though most Toraja are Christian now. One of the most famous Toraja tradition is their funeral rites, Rambu Solo. The Minangkabau ethnic group retain a unique matrilineal culture, despite being devoted Muslims. Other indigenous ethnic groups include the Asmat and Dani in Papua, the Dayak in Kalimantan and the Mentawai in Sumatra, where traditional rituals are still observed. Ramaya Wayang Wong Javanese dance performance at Prambanan Temple. Cultural tourism also plays a significant part in Yogyakarta, a special province in Indonesia known as the center of classical Javanese fine art and culture. The rise and fall of Buddhist, Hindu, and Islamic kingdoms in central Java has transformed Yogyakarta into a melting pot of Indonesian culture. Classical Javanese dances are performed in royal courts of Yogyakarta and Surakarta, as well as Javanese Ramayana ballet performed in Prambanan open-air theatre. Most major Indonesian cities have their state-owned museums, although most are in modest display. The most complete and comprehensive museum that displaying Indonesian culture and history span from prehistoric to colonial era is National Museum of Indonesia located in Jakarta. For Indonesian and foreign visitors unable to visit all Indonesian provinces, Taman Mini Indonesia Indah in East Jakarta provides a comprehensive microcosm of Indonesian culture. Established in 1975 by Tien Soeharto, this park displaying museums, separate pavilions with the collections of Indonesian architecture, clothing, dances and traditions all depicted impeccably, ancient Hindu and Buddhist temples. From the 4th century until the 15th century, Hinduism and Buddhism shaped the culture of Indonesia. Kingdoms rise and fall, such as Madang Kingdom, Srivijaya, Kediri, Singasari, and Majapahit. Along with the Indonesian classical history of Hindu-Buddhist era, they produced some temples and monuments called candi. The best preserved Buddhist shrine, which was built during the Sailendra dynasty in the 8th century, is Borobudur Temple in central Java. A giant stone mandala stepped pyramid adorned with bell-shaped stupas, richly adorned with bari leaves telling the stories and teachings of Buddha. Suwu Mahayana Buddhist Temple near Prambanan, central Java. A few kilometers to the southeast is the Prambanan complex, the largest Hindu temple in Indonesia built during the Second Mataram dynasty. The Prambanan temple is dedicated to Trimurti, Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma, three highest gods in Hinduism. Both the Borobudur and the Prambanan temple compounds have been listed in the UNESCO World Heritage List since 1991. Both temples are the largest and the most popular, conveniently accessible from Yogyakarta, the heartland of Javanese culture. The Ramayana Javanese dance is performed routinely on the stage near Prambanan temple, provides the visitors with a glimpse of Javanese classical culture. In and around Yogyakarta, the ancient Javanese archaeology and temple enthusiast may still discover numerous ancient temples, accessible by car or motorcycle. Although not as grand and popular as Borobudur and Prambanan, these smaller temples provide a glimpse of ancient culture and the intricate details of ancient Java temple architecture. Mendut and Pon temples are located in Kedu Plain near Borobudur, while Ratu Boko, Su'u, Lumbung, Playasan, Kalasan, and Sari are located in Prambanan Plain near Prambanan Temple. Cultural performance near Prambanan Temple. The temples of East Java dated from the era of Singasari and Majapahit, mostly located in Trowulan archaeological site, and also scattered around Blitar and Malang. Although not as grand and popular as the temples of Central Java, the East Javanese temples are also an interesting destination for Kandy and Indonesian ancient history enthusiasts. East Javanese temples such as Ringan Lawang, Brahu, Bajang Ratu, and Kandy Taikus in Trowulan archaeological site. Hawi Temple near Pandan, south of Surabaya, Panadaran Temple in Blitar, Kidal Temple and Singasari Temple near Malang. Most major Indonesian archaeological sites are equipped with museums, such as Samudra Raksa Museum and Karmawavanga Museum in Borobudur, Prambanan Museum and Prambanan Temple compounds, and Trowulan Museum located in former Majapahit capital of Trowulan archaeological site. Some of the archaeological discoveries are also displayed in municipal museums, such as Sanobudoyo Museum in Yogyakarta and Radiapustaka Museum in Surakarta, and of course the Indonesian National Museum in Jakarta. Sumatra also home of several ancient Buddhist temples mostly linked to Srivijaya Kingdom, such as Muaro Jambi in Jambi Province, Muaratikas in Riau and Biaro Bahal in North Sumatra. Sumatran temples, however, are not as elaborated and as spectacular as its Javanese counterpart, and subsequently less popular. The location is rural, quite far from large cities, so renting a car to visit these sites is advisable since public transportation to the location is scarce. Islamic heritage. Baitur Rahman Mosque in Aceh, a most popular and fine example of Islamic art and architecture in Indonesia. Islam has also contributed greatly to the cultural society in Indonesia. As of 2006, 88% of Indonesia's recorded population were Muslim. Islamic culture is prominent in Sumatra, and a few of the remaining Sultanate palaces can be seen in Medan and Tanjung Pinang. The Islamic heritage tourism is also popular, especially among Indonesian Muslims and Muslims from neighboring countries such as Malaysia, Singapore and Brunei that shared common Southeast Asian Islamic heritage. The activity usually linked with Islamic ziyarat pilgrimage to historical Islamic sites, such as historical mosques and tombs of venerated Islamic figures. However, for visitors in Islamic sites, either local or foreign, Muslim or non-Muslim, the rules of conduct and dress modesty is applied, such as removing the footwear while entering mosques or maqam. A visitor should not enter the site wearing shorts. Great Mosque of Medan, an example of Moorish, Mughal and Spanish architecture combination in Indonesia. In Aceh, the Baitur Rahman Grand Mosque and tombs of Aceh Sultanate kings is a popular destination, while in Medan the Medan Great Mosque and Maimun Palace is also major Islamic heritage destination. Most of the Indonesian major cities have their own historical or monumental Masjid Agung that become city's landmark as well as a tourism attraction. Istiqlal Mosque, Jakarta, the Indonesian national mosque and the largest in Southeast Asia, is Jakarta's major landmark as well as a tourist attraction. In Java, the ziyarat pilgrimage is usually linked to historically important Islamic figures of Wali Songo. They are important because of their historic role in the spread of Islam in Indonesia. Their tombs and mosques scattered along with Java's north coast towns, such as Demak, Kudus, Cirebon, Gresik, to Ampel and Surabaya. The 15th century Agung Demak Mosque hailed as the first mosque established in Java. Menara Kudus Mosque is notable for incorporating Majapahit Hindu Javanese architecture. The tomb of Sunan Gunung Jati near Cirebon is also the important ziyarat site in West Java. The heritage tourism might also be focused on the era of 17th to 19th century Royal Javanese courts of Yogyakarta Sultanate, Surakarta Sunanate, and Mangkunagaran. Colonial heritage. Former Batavia State Huis now Jakarta History Museum in Kota Tua. The heritage tourism is focused on specific interest on Indonesian history, such as colonial architectural heritage of Dutch East Indies era in Indonesia. The colonial heritage tourism mostly attracted visitors from the Netherlands that share historical ties with Indonesia, as well as Indonesian or foreign colonial history enthusiasts. The activities among others are visiting museums, churches, forts and historical colonial buildings, as well as spend some nights in colonial heritage hotels. The popular heritage tourism attractions are Kota, the center of Old Jakarta, with its maritime museum, Kota Intan Drawbridge, Jaya Sion, Wayang Museum, State Huis Batavia, Fine Art, and Ceramic Museum, Toko Mira, Bank Indonesia Museum, Bank Mandiri Museum, Jakarta Kota Railway Station, and Gledak. In the old ports of Sunda Kelapa, in Jakarta and Potir and Makassar the tall-masted pinnace ship still sailed. The Jakarta Cathedral with neo-Gothic architecture in central Jakarta also attracted architecture enthusiasts. Fort Rotterdam, a colonial heritage in Makassar. Bandung Historical Avenue around Asia Africa and Braga Street displays rich collections of Indies and Art Deco architecture from early 20th century. Several hotels such as Savoy Homan in Bandung and Hotel Majapahit in Surabaya are colonial heritage hotels suitable for those whom interested in Dutch East Indies colonial history. The Vogue forts can be found in Yogyakarta, Makassar, Bengkulu, and Ambon. The colonial buildings might also be found in old town parts of Indonesian cities, such as Semarang, Surabaya, Malang, Medan, and Sawalunto. Village tourism. Desa Wisata Bubohu, a tourism village in Gorontalo. Village tourism is a tourism concept in Indonesia to integrate attraction, activity, accommodation, and supporting facility within a specific area, called desa or village, to maximize tourism potential of that specific area. Unlike popular resorts area that mostly owned by global hotel chains, village tourism is usually modest small-scale family or community-owned accommodations, i.e. boarding house, guest house, bed and breakfast, lodge, tavern, restaurant or warung shop. This community-based tourism model is intended to generate the local economy, create jobs, as well as empowering the local community. Tourism potential may include natural points of interest, specific food, local activity, festivals, crafts, arts and cultural events that are unique to that area. Indonesia have 1,734 tourism village, most of it located at Java and Bali. Leisure and urban tourism. Leisure and urban tourism activities include shopping, sightseeing in big cities, or enjoying modern amusement parks, nightlife and entertainment. To some extent, urban tourism might also involve municipal culture and heritage tourism, such as visits to city museums or parts of a colonial old town. Shopping. Bandung with its boutiques, distribution stores and factory outlets is well known by locals and foreign visitors as shopping heaven in Indonesia. The nation's capital, Jakarta, offers many places for shopping. Mall Kelapa Gading, the biggest one with 130 square kilometers, Plaza Senayan, Senayan City, Grand Indonesia, X, and Plaza Indonesia are some of the shopping malls in the city. Next to high-end shopping centers with branded products, Indonesia is also a popular destination for handicraft shopping in the region. Certain Indonesian traditional crafts such as batik, songket, ikat weaving, embroidery, wooden statue and fashion products are popular souvenirs for visitors. Indonesian textile and fashion products are known for their good value, good quality with relatively cheap and reasonable price. Bandung is a popular shopping destination for fashion products among Malaysians and Singaporeans. Bali has many shopping centers, for instance, the Kuta Shopping Center and the Galleria Nusa Dua, amusement and theme parks. Halilintar roller coaster, one of the rides in Dunia Fantasy, Ancho Dreamland, Jakarta. Amusement parks with its rides are popular destination for Indonesian families and teenager alike. Ancho Dreamland with Dunia Fantasy Theme Park and Atlantis Water Adventure is Jakarta's answer to Disneyland-style amusement park and water park. Several similar theme parks also developed in other cities, such as Trans Studio Makassar and Trans Studio Bandung. Gastronomy tourism. Main article, Cuisine of Indonesia. Example of Balinese cuisine. Indonesia has rich and diverse culinary traditions, and might be considered as one of the richest and the best in the world, such as rendang that recently voted as the #1 dish of CNN International World's 50 Most Delicious Foods list. Many regional cuisines exist, often based upon indigenous culture and foreign influences. Indonesian cuisine varies greatly by region and has many different influences. From succulent coconut milk and curry-rich Minangkabau cuisine to Oceanian seafood meal of Papuan and Ambonese cuisine. Embarked on a journey through Indonesian cuisine is as exciting as enjoying the diversity of Indonesian culture, as some kind of dishes might have myriad variations of different recipes across archipelago. Some popular Indonesian dishes such as nasi goreng, sate, and soto are ubiquitous in the country and have numerous regional variations. These dishes are considered as Indonesian national dishes. Eating establishments in Indonesia are available from the modest street-side cart vendors to the luxury fine dining restaurants. Most of malls and shopping centers in Indonesian major cities usually have an entire floor dedicated as a food courts, where one could sample rich variety of Indonesian cuisine, and some Indonesian cities have their own signature dishes, such as Mie Aceh, Padang's rendang, Palembang's pempek, Jakarta's soto Betawi and gado-gado, Bandung's siomay and batagor, Yogyakarta's gudeg, Solo's tungseng, Semarang's lumpia, Surabaya's ron, Madura's satay, Balinese nasi campur and babi guling, Makassar's konro, Manado's tinutuan, to Chinese Indonesian mie goreng. Some exhibitions, fairs and events often also incorporated eating experiences, such as Jakarta Fair that offer local delicacies as well as food products from various corners of Indonesia, or Jakarta Fashion and Food Festival that feature food and fashion, wellness and spas. A spa suite in Legion, Bali. Indonesia has local tradition of health and beauty treatments. However, it was not until 2000s that wellness tourism business has become particularly popular in Java and Bali. In 2009 and 2012, Indonesia won international wellness awards as the world's best spa destination. Traditionally, Indonesians, especially in Java and Bali, has developed their own traditional wellness treatment for health, beauty and well-being purposes. Traditional treatments includes Javanese jamu herbal medicine, also Javanese and Balinese massage. Spas, fitness centers, and yoga classes are offered to tourists in major Indonesian cities, especially in Bali, Yogyakarta, Jakarta, and Bandung. Tourism Ministry of Indonesia has promoted Indonesia as a spa and wellness destination through various exhibitions. Historically, the Taman Sari of Yogyakarta is a water castle built in 1758, functioned as a pleasure garden for Sultan Hamengkubuwono I, his concubines and the royal family. This palace equipped with rooms and bathing pools served as a place to cleanse, purify and energize body and soul, restricted only for the king and royals. It was pretty much an 18th century royal spa. Javanese royal treatments including jamu herbal medicine, traditional massage, luluran, bathing and aromatherapy. In 2019, Indonesian Tourism Ministry is also partnering with Indonesian Health Ministry to provide health tourism, in 4 sectors: medical tourism, wellness tourism and jamu, sports tourism, and health academic tourism, golfing. A golf course in Karawaci, Greater Jakarta area. Another popular tourist activity is golfing, a favorite sport among the upper-class Indonesians and foreigners. Indonesia has around 150 golf courses. Golf courses concentrated mostly in Greater Jakarta, West Java, East Java, Bali, Bintan, and Batam. Bali, West Java and Yogyakarta have well-designed golf courses, either by the sea or on highland overlooking volcanoes. Some notable golf courses include Taman Dayu in Pasuruan, East Java, Ria Bintan, Damai Indah Golf Bumi Serpong Damai Tangerang, Rangkamaya near Bogor, New Kuta Golf in Bali, and Merapi Golf near Yogyakarta. Nightlife. The Garuda main stage of Jakarta Warehouse Project 2017. Nightlife of Indonesia is also popular among foreigners, especially in the big cities like Jakarta, Bandung, Surabaya, Manado, Denpasar, and Medan. Jakarta and Bali, for example, are quite popular for its vibrant nightlife and festivals, as the city boasts its large numbers of discotheques and clubs. The annual Jakarta Warehouse Project Dance Music Festival is a major electronic dance music event in Asia. Indonesian tourism campaigns. The official Indonesian government authority that is responsible for the tourism sector in Indonesia is the Ministry of Culture and Tourism of Indonesia. Several campaigns to promote Indonesian tourism have been launched, either by government or private sectors through various media such as print, television, and online. Visit Indonesia Year 1991. Learning from neighboring countries' success, such as Thailand, Singapore, and Malaysia, which successfully gained benefits and exploited their tourism sectors through intensive promotions. In the early 1990s, the Indonesian government launched integrated efforts to promote Indonesian tourism worldwide. The first integrated campaign was coined as Visit Indonesia Year, and the first year was the Visit Indonesia Year 1991, Visit Indonesia Year 2008. The Indonesian Ministry of Culture and Tourism declared 2008 as a Visit Indonesia Year. Visit Indonesia Year 2008 was officially launched on December 26, 2007. The figure of Visit Indonesia Year 2008 branding took the concept of Garuda Pancasila as the Indonesian way of life. The 5 components of Pancasila were represented by 5 different colored lines and symbolized the Indonesian unity and diversity. The targeted number was 7 million. Visit Indonesia Year 2008 also commemorated 100 years of Indonesia's national awakening in 1908. Visit Indonesia Year 2009. Kecha dance performance as a tourist attraction in Bali. Tourism Indonesia Mart and Expo 2009 was held at Santosa Villas and Resort in Senggigi on the west coast of Lombok, NTB. Entering its 16th year of conduct, Time 2009 was organized by the Indonesian Tourism Promotion Board and received the support of a wide number of tour participants in Indonesia. Time 2009 attracted 127 buyers from 25 countries. The top 5 buyers were from Korea, India, Malaysia, Indonesia, the United States, and the Netherlands. Time 2009 also attracted a total of 250 delegates of sellers from 97 companies of Indonesia, occupying 84 booths at the exhibition. Sellers came from 15 provinces dominated by West Nusa Tenggara, Jakarta, Bali, Central Java, and East Kalimantan as top 5 sellers. The percentage of sellers based on the industry was hotel, resort and spa, NTO, tour operator/travel agent, adventure/activity holiday, airline, and others. Amidst current global financial crisis, Time 2009 booked an estimated of the transaction of $17.48 million, or increasing 15% from the previous time held in Makassar, South Sulawesi in 2008. Visit Indonesia Year 2010. Cultural performances such as Balinese Ramayana traditional dance are popular tourist attractions, especially in Ubud, Bali. Following the hosting on the island of Lombok in 2009, the event was again hosted in Lombok, Sumbawa on 12 October 15, 2010 at Santosa Villas and Resort in Senggigi on the west coast of Lombok. Entering its 16th year, Time was organized by the Indonesian Tourism Promotion Board and supported by a wide number of tour participants in Indonesia. Time 2010 was supported by the travel and tourism industry in Indonesia, including the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, the Provincial Government of West Nusa Tenggara Culture and Tourism Office, Lombok Sumbawa Promo, Garuda Indonesia as official airline, other supporting airlines, Indonesia National Air Carriers Association, Board of Airline Representatives Indonesia, Association of Indonesian Tours and Travel Agencies, Indonesia Hotels and Restaurant Association, Indonesian Conference and Convention Association, Pakto Convex as the event organizer, supported by national and international media. Lombok and Sumbawa in West Nusa Tenggara set a target of wooing 1 million tourists to visit the islands by 2012. Wonderful Indonesia. Wonderful Indonesia Floral Float, depicting Wayang Golek wooden puppet in Pasadena Rose Parade 2013. Wonderful Indonesia has been the slogan since January 2011 of an international marketing campaign directed by the Indonesian Ministry of Culture and Tourism to promote tourism. The campaign replaced the previous Visit Indonesia Year campaign, which had been used since 1991. The Wonderful Indonesia concept highlights Indonesia's wonderful nature, cultures, people, food, and value for the money. After the campaign was launched, Indonesia reported an increase of foreign visitors, from 7,002,944 in 2010 to 7,649,731 in 2011, and 8,044,462 in 2012. Pesona Indonesia. In December 2014, the new Minister of Tourism, Arif Yahya, launched the new brand Pesona Indonesia to target the domestic tourism market. Both Wonderful Indonesia and Pesona Indonesia have the same Garuda logo. The minister hopes that both brands will be a single tourism identity for Indonesia. Destination Management Organization. Tanah Toraja in South Sulawesi, one of destination management organization in Indonesia. One program of central government is Destination Management Organization, an integrated promotion and management program which involving all stakeholders in tourism industry, including the local authority, business owners and local people. The DMO targets for 2010 to 2014 were 15 areas: Sabang, Toba, Jakarta Old City Area, Pangandaran, Borobudur, Tanjung Puting, Bromo Tengger Semeru, Badar Bali Area, Rinjani, Durawan Islands, Toraja, Bunaken, Wakatobi, Raja Ampat, Komodo Kelimutu Flores. 10 Priority Tourism Destinations. Lake Toba in North Sumatra, one of 10 priority tourism destinations. For most of the time, Indonesian tourism relies heavily on the charm of Bali as a drawing force to attract tourists. As a result, most foreign visitors are drawn and concentrated only in Bali, which already has quite well-developed tourism culture and infrastructure. To distribute the wealth of tourism and generate tourism-related economic opportunities among Indonesian provinces, the Tourism Authority launched a program to create and add new centers of attraction as an alternative for Bali. In mid-2016, the Indonesian Ministry of Tourism launched a new program named 10 Priority Tourism Destinations, dubbed as the New Bali. The 10 destinations are Borobudur Temple, Lake Toba, Mount Bromo, Komodo National Park, Kepulauan Seribu, Mandalika, Wakatobi Islands, Tanjung Keliong Beach, Tanjung Lasing Beach, and Morotai Island. The efforts, among others, by creating and improving tourism infrastructure facilities including hotels, homestays, restaurants, handicraft and souvenir art markets, also improving interconnection into these regions by improving and constructing new airports. However, in practice by 2017, among these 10 priorities, only 4 of them that kick off and received full government attention and supports. They are Lake Toba in North Sumatra, Borobudur in Central Java, Labuan Bajo is the gate into Komodo National Park, and Mandalika in Lombok.